In this video, I want to draw altitudes, medians, and perpendicular bisectors. Alright, notice I said draw. I do not need to use a compass. Alright, so let's start with our altitudes. Alright, so we're going to make blue line that's going to be altitude. Alright, there are the altitudes. Go from each of the vertexes. Alright, so let's first find all the vertexes. Alright, that's all the corners. So there's a vertex. There's a vertex, and here's a vertex. Okay, just so we can identify what we're talking about a little better, I'm going to name it. So let's call that A. Down here I'm going to call this B, and this one I'm going to call C. Alright? Okay, so we're going to start with the altitude from A. Okay, and it's going to go to the opposite side, which is going to be CB. Alright, and it needs to be 90 degrees. Alright, so our line's going to start at A, and it needs to make a 90-degree angle with the opposite side. Alright, so right now let's see, that's not, alright. Okay, so let's say that's the line I chose. Alright, the way you'd check it would be to take something that is a right angle. Alright, okay, this ruler has a right angle on the corner. Alright, so if we took our ruler, okay, or an ID or anything that's square, has a square corner, and you line it up against the side, okay, I know that the ruler lines up right against that side and right against that side. Alright, so I know it's 90 degrees. Alright, otherwise I could verify with a compass, not a compass, but a protractor, and see if it's 90. Okay, so I know this line is a perpendicular, or is a altitude. Alright, and I need two more. So we need an altitude from B. Okay, so we need to make a line. Let's see, if I put it there, that's not 90 degrees. So I need to change it. Keep moving until it is 90. Alright, so then we take our object that is square, rotate it so the corner fits it. Alright, and it looks like it fits, it almost does. Alright, so yeah, that's not quite perpendicular, so I'd have to change it a little bit. Okay, but yeah, so you want it so it's right at 90 degrees from the vertex. Alright, and then we'd have to do one more line. So we gotta go from C. Alright, and it needs to be 90 degrees with the other side. Alright, so there. Alright, so all these blue lines I know are altitudes. Alright, they all form 90 degrees with the opposite side. Alright, if I wanted to show that, I could show, okay, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, and 90 degrees. Alright? Alright, next up, so I got the same exact triangle, but now I'm going to have different looking, alright, it's going to look different because now I'm finding medians. Alright, with the medians, so I got to draw a line from the vertex to the opposite midpoint. So let's first find all the vertexes. So I got one there, one there, one there. And I have some medians. Remember, medians are right in the middle of each segment. Alright, so, alright, if this again was A, okay, down there's C, and this is B. Okay, now I gotta find the midpoint of each, so the midpoint of A is C. It's gonna be in the middle. I'm gonna show it's the middle because these two, and let's call this midpoint, we'll call this midpoint M. Okay, I know M is gonna split AC exactly in half. Alright, so that AM is congruent to MC. Alright, I know there's going to be midpoints. Okay, that divides these two in half. Alright, so I know these two lines are congruent. Okay, and then I need a midpoint that divides these lines in half. Alright, so I know that these two lines are also equal. Okay, so to do our medians, we gotta go from the vertex to the opposite, okay, midpoint. Okay, vertex to the opposite midpoint. Vertex to the opposite midpoint. Alright, if I did it right, they all should line up right. Okay, they all should cross in the same spot. Alright, but in this case they did not. Okay, so I must have been off in a couple spots. Okay, but drawing, I'm not too worried. I just want it close. Alright, and last, perpendicular bisector. Okay, that's, okay, so I'm drawing a line that bisects each of these segments and it's perpendicular from that point. Okay, so, okay, first I'd have to find the midpoints. So I have a midpoint here. Okay, we gotta find the bisector of each segment. Alright, so these midpoints is where the bisector would go through. Alright, so I know these are midpoints because these two are equal. Okay, these two lines are equal. And these two lines, okay, divided by the midpoint are going to be equal. Alright, so now from each of those, okay, midpoints, I gotta draw a line that is perpendicular from the line I started on. Alright, so let's see. So this line I just drew over here is 90 degrees. Okay, show it's 90 by making the right angle sign. Okay, I have a 90 degree from that side. Okay, again I show it's 90 by using the right angle. Right, and the final line, okay, is 90 degrees from, okay, the bottom side. Alright, so these are all my perpendicular bisectors. Okay, and notice how they all cross in the same spot. Okay, each of these always cross in the same spot if I did it right. Alright, so I got three different things. Altitudes go through a vertex and are parallel to the opposite side. Medians go from a vertex to the midpoint of the opposite side. And perpendicular bisectors go from the midpoints and are perpendicular through the midpoints.